En este campus te damos las claves para entrar en el mercado laboral de aquí, del Parlamento Europeo, del Comité de las Regiones y de todos los organismos europeos, y también para que sepas que hay mucho más allá de nuestras fronteras.
Europa es un inmenso campo de oportunidades y las instituciones europeas es un lugar idóneo para iniciar una actividad profesional, para quedarse en ella o desde acá expandirse a otros lugares, a otros trabajos, con la experiencia importantísima que se consigue en las instituciones europeas. Por lo tanto, el que hayan venido aquí estos jóvenes a entender, a conocer, a aprender y a ver cuál es el horizonte que se les presenta, yo creo que es una gran oportunidad y sobre todo es una oportunidad nueva. Que lo aprovechen y que les vaya bien, que les vaya bonito, caramba.
Muchos habrán visto en el vídeo, para los que no, vuelvan a intentarlo el año que viene, que como bien saben será para otras 40 personas más, si todo va bien. También habrán visto que había un concurso, porque había una entrega de premios, digo, por si acaso. Recuerden, Instagram, Facebook y Twitter, hagan el concurso, participen en ello, que mañana se desvelará quién es el que gana, y ya los que estuvieron en Bruselas saben que soy intensa si no participan, así que participen. Y nada, ahora vamos a la mesa europea. Será una mesa en inglés, como ya les habíamos dicho también. Adrian intentará ser un facilitador en caso a la hora de las preguntas para explicarles qué es lo que han dicho o para poder interpretar la pregunta que ustedes les quieran hacer a ellos. Tenemos a personas muy importantes aquí, pero primero voy a decirle a Adrian que suba, que es como quien dice, es nuestro jefe en Bruselas, es el jefe de gabinete de todo nuestro equipo en el Parlamento Europeo. Además de ser la persona que me ayuda y que viene conmigo a todo el periplo que hacemos por distintos congresos europeos y por distintos lugares. Tenemos aquí a Sissel, que es la presidenta del LYMEC, que es esa organización, esa parte de jóvenes de ALDE en la que queremos entrar y que esperamos que sea eurodiputada pronto. Así que vamos, Sissel. I just say that we really hope that you can be MEP so soon.
Wow, thank you.
Y tenemos a Hans Mins, que es el responsable de la parte internacional de los jóvenes del partido VLD. Para que se hagan una idea, es el partido de Verhofstadt, que él estuvo en nuestro... No, sí, de Verhofstadt. Digo, que Adrian luego me echa la bronca. Que estuvo en nuestro Consejo General y en nuestro Congreso. Así que Hans, just welcome. Créanme, sáquenle todo el provecho posible, no solo a lo que digan, sino a las preguntas que le harán después. Just say that they just start to ask the most that they can, because it's going to be really interesting. Disfruten, chicos.
Bueno, hola a todos. Lo primero es agradecer a Mel y a la Secretaría de Juventud, porque cada campus al que vengo, ese es el cuarto entre los de Bruselas y los que se han hecho en España, cada vez son mejores. A Karen, que la pobre lleva todo el día trabajando como una bestia y ha hecho un trabajo excelente. Thanks as well to Hassan Sissel, because we know you made a great effort to come to Málaga in a weekend in July. So thank you very much. Y sobre todo a todos vosotros, no solo por venir, que sé que muchos también habéis venido de lejos, sino también porque sé que todos vosotros, al igual que yo, sois proeuropeístas, genuinamente. Y eso, la verdad, estar en un partido que coja la bandera europea con esa fuerza, que haya tanta gente joven con esos mismos ideales, pues, hombre, a mí me gratifica enormemente. Antes de seguir, solo os voy a decir una cosa sobre mí. Yo soy un friki de la Unión Europea. Lo iréis entendiendo a lo largo de la jornada, no solo por el panel de ahora, sino por el grupo de trabajo de después. Y soy un verdadero creyente de lo que es el proyecto europeo. Antes decía believer, después de lo de Justin Bieber ya he vuelto a decir solo creyente. Cuando Melissa me dijo que tenía que contar un poco cuál es el papel de Ciudadanos en la Unión Europea, qué hemos hecho desde que llegamos en las elecciones europeas de mayo de 2014, hace ya 3 años y 25 días, pues estuve pensando, joder, pues en 3 años han pasado tantas cosas, no solo en España, donde habéis visto la expansión enorme y el crecimiento del partido a nivel nacional, pero es que en Europa también hemos tenido esa expansión, aunque no haya llegado tanto. De repente escuchamos algo de lo que hemos hecho en ALDE, que ganamos una vicepresidencia, que Albert se reúne con primeros ministros, pues todo eso ha sido un proceso de ganar peso, influencia, nombre, fiabilidad, respeto en las instituciones. Para entender un poco, va a ser difícil explicarlo sin un PowerPoint, pero para entender un poco cómo es el juego, la estructura política en Europa, y además estuvimos discutiendo mucho sobre esto en Bruselas con muchos de vosotros, que os veo hoy por aquí, os voy a explicar primero a cómo diferenciar entre lo que son los partidos políticos europeos, nos quedamos ahí, los partidos políticos europeos, y los grupos políticos en las instituciones europeas. ¿De acuerdo? Hacemos esa diferenciación. Voy primero con los partidos políticos. Los partidos políticos europeos son un poco como un partido nacional de un Estado miembro, como puede ser Ciudadanos, PP, PSOE, Podemos. En un partido nacional, individuales, ciudadanos, son afiliados a un partido. En un partido político europeo, quien se afilia son partidos políticos nacionales. ¿De acuerdo? ¿Cuáles son los grandes partidos políticos europeos que hay? El Democristiano, el Partido Popular Europeo, donde está el PP de Rajoy, donde está la CDU de Merkel, donde está el partido de extrema derecha de Hungría de Orbán, o sea, tienen lo mejor de cada casa. Luego está el Partido Socialista y Demócrata Europeo, que ahora, como sabéis, está en horas bajas, donde está el Partido Demócrata de Renzi, italiano, está el Partido de Hamon, el Partido Socialista francés, el Partido Socialista o Laborista británico, el de Corbyn, y en España es el PSOE, de Pedro Sánchez. Y luego nuestra familia, que es la tercera en tamaño, y es la mejor a todas luces, es ALDE, que es la Alianza de los Liberales y Demócratas Europeos, que es donde nosotros estamos inscritos como partido. Nosotros entramos allí en junio del año pasado, porque para entrar es como cuando vas a un club, no puedes llegar y decir, oye, quiero entrar aquí sin conocer a nadie o sin que nadie me conozca. Es como lo que ha dicho antes Melissa con LYMEC. Tenemos que ir poquito a poquito, que nos conozcan, que vean lo que somos, que vengan a nuestros congresos y vean lo guapos y majos que somos todos. Y así hicimos con ALDE hasta que entramos el año pasado. ¿Para qué sirven los partidos políticos europeos? ¿Cuál es el objetivo? Son plataformas, no son como un partido político nacional. ¿Y qué digo cuando digo que son plataformas? Son plataformas donde gente, afiliados, diputados, representantes de partidos de todos los Estados miembros que tienen una ideología similar se juntan 2 o 3 veces al año y comparten ideas, problemas, intercambian buenas prácticas. Oye, yo he tenido un problema en mi campaña con las redes sociales. ¿Cómo lo habéis solucionado vosotros? ¿Tenéis un buen proyecto de redes sociales? ¿Por qué no venís y nos dais un seminario sobre cómo hacerlo? Sirve para eso. Y también sirve para ganar influencia. Tú, si vas solo a Europa, si Ciudadanos va solo a Europa, por ejemplo, y hacemos un grupo solo nosotros, en el Parlamento Europeo tendríamos 2 eurodiputados de 751. Sin embargo, como si somos parte de una familia en la que compartimos valores, intereses, objetivos, estamos en un grupo de 70. La fuerza ya es de 70 diputados, no de 2. Esa es la importancia. Al igual que los partidos nacionales, los partidos europeos políticos también tienen ramas. Tienen una rama de jóvenes, como es LYMEC, en la familia ALDE, que ella es la presidenta y os explicará después. Tienen una fundación, en el caso de ALDE es la European Liberal Forum. ¿Qué hace la fundación? Pues las fundaciones de los partidos liberales europeos se juntan y lo que hacen es construyen policy, construyen ideas, construyen programas. Tenemos ahora un problema con el programa de cómo debería ser, por ejemplo, el futuro de la seguridad común europea. Pues estas fundaciones se unen en esta herramienta supranacional y se ponen todos los partidos y pensadores liberales juntos a decir, oye, los liberales europeos, ¿qué queremos ofrecer sobre esto? Eso es importante. Y luego está una tercera rama, que es la liberal internacional, y ahí ya dejaré de decir tantas ramas que tiene, que es un poco donde están los liberales de todo el mundo. La liberal internacional no solo están los partidos liberales europeos, sino también está, por ejemplo, el Partido Liberal Canadiense, que todos conocéis porque su presidente es Trudeau, por poneros un ejemplo. Pero también te encuentras a un Partido Liberal taiwanés, o sea que hay de todo. Y ahora que ya tenemos claro, espero, lo que son los partidos políticos europeos, vamos a pasar a qué son los grupos políticos en las instituciones europeas. Los grupos políticos son los grupos parlamentarios, ¿de acuerdo? Como puede tener el grupo parlamentario de Ciudadanos en el Congreso de los Diputados o el grupo parlamentario de Ciudadanos en el Ayuntamiento de Málaga. Son los grupos institucionales. El más relevante y principal, obviamente, es el Parlamento Europeo, que donde, como sabéis, tenemos a 2 eurodiputados y que recientemente, en diciembre del año pasado, Javier Nart, nuestro eurodiputado de Asuntos Exteriores que lo acabáis de ver, fue nombrado vicepresidente del grupo. Él se sienta a la mano de derecha de nuestro presidente, de Guy Verhofstadt. Esa es la relevancia que Ciudadanos va cogiendo en estos 3 años poco a poco. El otro gran órgano donde existe esta representación y estos grupos parlamentarios es el Comité de las Regiones, que es donde hicimos el último campus en Bruselas, donde habéis visto ahora el vídeo. ¿Para qué sirve el Comité de las Regiones? Aquí que vea un concejal de Barcelona seguro que nos lo podría explicar bien. El Comité de las Regiones lo que hace es asesora a las iniciativas legislativas de la Comisión Europea que afectan a regiones y municipios de la Unión Europea. Es decir, que cuando hay una iniciativa legislativa que pueda afectar a una región por una cosa en particular, tiene que pasar por este comité para que emiten una opinión. Y así los legisladores en Bruselas digan, ostras, pues no solo tenemos que pensar en cómo afecta nuestra legislación a las naciones, sino también a las regiones y a los municipios. Nosotros no tenemos ningún representante en el Comité de las Regiones porque en España los que están representando al comité, a los órganos españoles en el Comité de las Regiones son los 17 varones, los 17 presidentes de la comunidad y 4 alcaldes que son elegidos en la Federación de Municipios. Nosotros todavía no tenemos ningún varón, pero bueno, en 2019 seguro que ya tenemos allí a alguien. Y estos representantes, estos concejales o presidentes de comunidades, cuando van a una reunión del Comité de las Regiones, no se sientan con el resto de españoles, se sientan en su grupo político. Si uno de Ciudadanos, por ejemplo, cuando Inés Arrimadas sea presidenta de la Generalitat, cuando vaya al Comité de las Regiones, ella se sentará en el grupo ALDE del Comité de las Regiones, porque es con quien comparte ideología, valores, objetivos, etc. Y luego una tercera pata, que esta nos ha traído mucho trabajo, sobre todo a Melissa, que no sé si anda por aquí este año, que es una institución que no es de la Unión Europea, que se llama el Consejo de Europa, que antes ha mencionado Albert, que es una institución de más de 50 países, donde no solo están miembros de la Unión Europea, sino que también están países de los Balcanes, del Cáucaso, muy del este de Europa, que simplemente vela, bueno, simplemente es una tarea compleja, vela por el respeto de los derechos humanos en los países miembros. El Consejo de Europa se reúne 4 veces al año en Estrasburgo, es un poco el órgano que controla el Tribunal Penal, el Tribunal de los Derechos Humanos de Estrasburgo. ¿Y quién representa a los países en ese Consejo de Europa? Son los diputados de los parlamentos nacionales que van representando a su país. En el caso de Ciudadanos, nuestra representante es Melissa. Pero Melissa, al igual que pasa en el Comité de las Regiones, cuando va al Consejo de Europa a defender una posición, una resolución, ella no se sienta con los diputados del PP, del PSOE, de PDeCAT. Se sienta con los diputados de ALDE, del grupo ALDE. ¿De acuerdo? Ya sé que es muy complejo, no sé si os habéis quedado con ello, pero lo he intentado. Y ahora os explico un poquito dónde estamos. Después de estos 3 años de nuestra llegada a Bruselas, si hemos ganado influencia, dentro de lo que es el partido ALDE, probablemente muchos lo seguiríais en las redes el año pasado, entramos en el partido en junio del año pasado y ya en diciembre, en el congreso que tuvo lugar en Polonia, en una elección muy competida, Luis Garicano fue elegido vicepresidente. Entonces ya tenemos un vicepresidente en la ejecutiva del partido ALDE, por donde pasan todas las decisiones y donde se está preparando todo de cara a las elecciones europeas de 2019. En el grupo ALDE, en el Parlamento Europeo, tenemos la vicepresidencia, como os hemos comentado antes, de Javier Nart, otro puesto importantísimo donde todas las decisiones legislativas y lo que atañe a la legislación europea sucede. Javier está en la ejecutiva de ese órgano. Y luego en el Consejo de Europa tenemos a Melissa, que en solo año y medio que lleva allí ya ha conseguido ser portavoz de 2 temas importantes en 6 reuniones y creciendo. Ya veremos si llega a la presidencia o no en el futuro. Y la pregunta es, ¿por qué un partido que ha nacido en una región que ha tenido una ola de crecimiento tan brutal en tan poco tiempo, también ha generado ese impacto en Europa? ¿Por qué nosotros de repente en 3 años tenemos posiciones tan claves, a pesar de que, por ejemplo, en el Parlamento Europeo no hemos vuelto a tener elecciones de 2014? O sea, seguimos teniendo 2 escaños, que es poco. ¿Pero por qué eso? Yo que lo he vivido todo el proceso, puedo decir sin ningún tipo de duda que hemos llevado a la política europea, a la familia liberal, algo que no tenían. Hemos llevado juventud, hemos llevado frescura, ideas nuevas y otra manera de hacer política. Y de verdad eso se nota. Yo creo que tanto Hans como Sissel lo podrán decir después, pero esa imagen que ha llevado Ciudadanos, gente joven, con empuje, con ganas de cambiar las cosas, con hacer las cosas de otra manera, realmente ha generado un impacto. Ha generado tal impacto que os voy a poner un ejemplo. Yo ayer estuve toda la mañana en Madrid porque el Partido Liberal Irlandés, que se llama Fianna Fáil es un partido que fue fundado en 1925 y ha estado décadas en gobierno. Y la última vez que estuvo en el gobierno fue cuando perdió las elecciones de 2011. Es decir, que no son gente que acaba de llegar a la política. Están en una situación compleja en su país porque, a pesar de ser el segundo partido más grande, están en oposición permitiendo el gobierno para dar estabilidad al país. Imagino que esa situación os suena. Pues cuando han querido aprender de alguien, de cómo hacerlo de cara a unas posibles elecciones y que al gobierno, cómo estáis consiguiendo hacer oposición, pero a la vez conseguir acuerdos con el gobierno, un partido que lleva 80 años en primera línea política de Irlanda, han venido a preguntarnos a nosotros. Vinieron a escuchar en todas nuestras áreas cómo lo estábamos haciendo y os puedo asegurar que se fueron muy impresionados. Eso es lo que estamos consiguiendo, no solo en España, pero también a nivel europeo. Yo con esto no solo quiero intentar deciros lo bien que se ha hecho y el trabajo que se está realizando, sino también intentar que vosotros cojáis esa motivación y os involucréis también. Tenemos que ser todos parte de esta nueva manera de hacer las cosas. Y cuando digo involucraros, no es solo a través de un partido político. Os podéis involucrar a través de asociaciones, plataformas de la sociedad civil, grupos universitarios sobre Europa. Todos pensamos en eso, tenemos que estar todos ahí arrimando el hombro. Y sobre todo, en las barras de bar. Yo con mis amigos, cada vez que a alguno le escucho, es que yo pues a veces entiendo que la gente vote a Le Pen. Pues yo doy un paso al frente y le discuto. Y discuto por qué Europa es importante, por qué es necesario que sigamos en Europa. Eso sí, siendo europeístas críticos. Lo de más Europa y todo eso ya está muy manido. Lo que tenemos que hacer ahora es una mejor Europa. Y si toda la gente joven como nosotros, que tenemos esos ideales y ese empuje, empujamos juntos, os puedo asegurar que esto cambia, hay que creérselo. Bueno, dicho lo cual, voy a dar paso a Sissel, que es la presidenta del LYMEC. Es una persona con la que llevamos 2 años trabajando codo con codo, tanto Melissa como yo, para poder nosotros entrar en esa organización. Y, como ha dicho antes Melissa, posiblemente una futura eurodiputada del partido Venstre Radical danés.
Thank you so much, especially Melissa and Adrian for inviting me here, but also to all of you for being here. I've only been here this morning, but it's already been super inspirational to see so many young people fighting for a better country and a better Europe. It's great. My name is Sissel, as Adrian introduced me. I'm the president of LYMEC, the European Liberal Youth. I understand that maybe not everyone is super fluent in English, but I assure you that your English is better than my Spanish. So I'm sure that it's going to be fine. Adrian has promised that sometimes when I get really enthusiastic, I speak too fast. He promised. He will let me know. He will tell me,
I will.
Slow down. So let's do this. Just a bit of who am I. My name is Sissel, president of LYMEC. I have a Danish passport. I live in the Netherlands, and usually I say that Europe is my home, because that's really how I feel. I've been member of the LYMEC Bureau since 2012, and I became president last year in 2016. Before that, I served as vice president and campaign officer. I have a party background in the Danish Social Liberal Party and the Danish Social Liberal Youth, which is called Radikale Venstre, which I joined in 2005. And when I don't do politics, I have a boring job in the financing sector. So that's a bit about me. If I could have the first video now.
We experience its flaws, and we will shape it. We will make a better and brighter future for the EU. That's why we're here for the ALDE Summer Academy in Brussels, to create a Europe we dream of.
We know what Europe needs. Europe needs a new generation of politicians, and young people need a better education for that.
We need the EU to empower and encourage young people to be more creative and courageous to create the technologies of the future.
This was a video from our summer academy we held a month ago. And I think if there's one message I have for you today, it is that you really need to get involved. You have the opportunity of leaving a fingerprint on the European Union, whether or not it's via party politics on a national level, on a local level, or maybe on the European level. But also if you join student organization, do student politics, if you're involved in an NGO, or maybe one of the many civil movements that are growing at the moment, I really strongly encourage you to join, because we are the generation who is enjoying the benefits of the hard work of the generation that was before us. We are the ones who grew up in peace, stability, and enjoy democracy. And we all know we are being pressured from the left and from the right, but I know that we together can make sure that we have a European Union in the future and that it will be a better European Union. So really, I hope whether or not you stay active here or somewhere else, that you stay active, and also that, you know, maybe you have a friend who maybe he does not really sympathize with the party itself, but maybe there's another platform for people to get involved, because this is really our time. This is now. So with this introduction, I'm going to tell you a bit more about LYMEC. We were founded in 1976. So last year we had our 40 years anniversary. Officially, we are the liberal and radical youth movement of the European community. But that is a bit long to say on a daily basis, so we say LYMEC and usually the European Liberal Youth. As Adrian also told you during your presentation, I think, yep, if my Spanish is not that bad, that we are the umbrella organization for young liberals and social liberals from all across Europe, so both within the European Union and outside. And we are also the youth organization to the ALDE party and the ALDE party group in the Parliament. In LYMEC, there's two types of memberships. You can be an individual member. That is typically for people who live in a country where there's not a party they affiliate themselves with. Maybe they live in a country where there is no liberal party, but they still want to join the European liberal movement. Then you can become an individual member. Or, as the majority of our members, they come from member organizations. So it could be the Lib Dems in the UK or the Junge Liberale in Germany, and all in all, we make 200,000 people from 47 organizations in 33 countries. And what I like the most is that we keep growing. You were there at our last Congress when we welcomed new members from Poland, from Czech Republic, and from Bosnia and Herzegovina. So we really have a momentum now. Liberalism is growing everywhere. This is our daily leadership. It's my team. We are a bureau of 7 people and a Secretary General. We run the day-to-day business, as you may say. We organize events, we make political statements, campaigns, we fundraise so we have money to do our activities. But the highest decision-making body is, of course, the Congress, where our members come together twice a year, and they shape the policies, they debate resolutions, and put out like the political line for our organization. So everything we do as a bureau is with the mandate of our Congress. And I also have a short video I'd like to show.
As an international officer, what makes LYMEC Congress so special is the fact that not only am I coming from the UK to see a lot of my friends from all over Europe, but I'm bringing a lot of my mates from Britain too. It's great because a lot of our delegation, we open it up completely so anyone who's a member of Liberal Youth can come. A lot of them haven't been to a congress abroad before. And, you know, after a day, you know that they're going to be back for more. They're developing politically as people, having a great time meeting new people as well. And, yeah, that's just LYMEC Congress for me.
It's good to be here at the LYMEC Congress because it's the political heart of the organizations. It's where we shape our policies and set the political goals of Europe.
For us individual members, this Congress is the highlight of the year. This is where we make European decisions, and this is where our political home is.
LYMEC, we are creating new generations of Europeans. People who will have friends in every city of the European Union. People who will have someone to rely upon in every part of your private and professional life. These people will be there for you every time you need them.
Thank you. So I hope this gives you a bit of an idea of how it feels when you take 120 young people from all across Europe and you put them in a room for 2 days. There's lots of debate and discussion, but also lots of learning and lots of fun. So whenever you get an opportunity, again, if it's LYMEC, if it's Model, UN, United Nations, whatever, really take the opportunity because you're going to really appreciate it. But back to LYMEC, I want to tell you just briefly about what we stand for, what is like the key topics. Because of course, when you are an umbrella organization, you have people who are very to the right of the liberal spectrum and to the left. But these are some of the key topics where we all agree and where we really push forward. And the first is being pro-European and believing and saying out loud that we believe that the European Union is a positive force. That it has made us all richer, that it's brought peace and progress. But of course, this does not mean that we cannot be critical of what the EU is. One of the things we're very worried about is that that we're building up sort of a fortress Europe sometimes, and that we're closing too much around ourselves. So it's of course always a balance that you want to, at one hand, being a positive force, staying in a debate with populism from both the left and the right, that actually, no, the European Union is a good thing, and also leaving space for being, critical. Another key topic for us is free trade, no to protectionism. We have really spent a lot of energy on this because maybe you followed the debate. There is a lot of myth when it comes to free trade. We had a campaign that was called Stand Up for Liberalism, Bust the Myth on TTIP, which was the free trade agreement between the US and EU. Unfortunately, it did not happen, but I blame Donald Trump more than I blame the European Union. But also that we really always insist that we can have difference of opinion on a topic, but we need to discuss it with facts, not like fears and emotion. We need to stick to the facts. So yeah, we lost TTIP, but recently there has been very good developments with the Canadian trade agreement between the EU, CETA, and the EU and Japan trade agreement. So that's something to celebrate. And finally, a key topic for us is LGBT rights, that we really believe in equal rights and no discrimination. Your rights are our fights. And I think maybe when we sit here in Western Europe, we take this for granted. But the picture here on the screen is from the Europride in Riga 2 years ago. And I think everyone who ever participated in a Pride knows that it's a huge party, right? It's like glitter and happy people, good music. But in Riga, it was totally a different experience. There was counter-protest. There was like security instructions, you should not wear your hair down, you should not wear earrings, because if you got attacked. So it really showed to us like, okay, there's really a lot of work to be done, and we cannot take what we have achieved for granted. So that was like a political in a nutshell. Then, of course, next to being a political platforms, we do a lot of events. We do congresses, as we saw before. We do the Summer Academy in the European Parliament, where you also participated. We do seminars on political topics. We really go into depth with, it could be climate change, it could be economic policy, get experts, and bring people together from all over Europe for a weekend. We do twinnings, which is when we set up member organizations. So in September, there is elections in Germany, which are really, really important for the European family, because hopefully the German will get back into the Bundestag, into the parliament, and there will be lots of young liberals from all across Europe coming to Germany and saying, hey, I want to help out, I want to learn about how you do campaigns. And finally, we do trainings, which is really about concrete skills that we want to develop. It could be social media, it could be campaigning, public speaking, or how do you deal with the press? What do you do when you have a really shitty case and you are faced with the press? All these kind of things. So it's really both about developing your political understanding, but also, you know, the personal skills which you can take with you in whatever you do in your future. And for this, I also have a short video from an event we did last week in Gdansk in Poland.
The best thing about the seminar was that we had the time to really try the things that we learned in the theoretical part afterwards in the practical part, when we had the possibility to really practice the debate or the stand in front of the camera, which was really helpful, and it gave the different dimension to the whole training framework, I would say.
I think the most important thing I've learned this weekend is that you learn by doing. I think this sounds a bit obvious, but it really is a thing you realize when you've done it yourself.
I learned through cooperation with my fellow liberals to get forward our arguments in a more successful way, so we can get to convince more people in our local elections, but also in European level.
So yeah, down to it. Why get involved in LYMEC? I think it's a perfect platform to discuss politics with fellow liberals from all over Europe. And it really also gains you a lot of perspectives, because we might all be liberals, but of course there's different topics which are difficult or different in different regions of Europe. For me, coming from a small, quiet country, Denmark, lying very nicely, you know, there's no enemies to the west or to the east, it was a huge eye-opener for me to speak with people from the Baltic countries, because there they are preparing for a Russian invasion. It's not something, you know, where it's like a joke, it's real. And for me, it really gave a lot of perspective on how we're gonna, you know, deal with expenses for defense cooperation, because when you come from a very small and very stable country, you kind of get to think that, well, is it really a priority? But then you meet other people and you understand their everyday, the fear they live with, and you understand, yes, of course it is. Then it's really about developing yourself and your skills. I can speak for myself. The first time I had to go in a speaker's chair, I was so nervous that I cried. It was the worst thing I ever tried. And if someone had told me that one day I would sit in it, and I was even speaking in Danish, you know. The first time I did it in English, it was even worse. But, you know, now I'm here, and I think I'm doing an okay job. So really, it's you learn something, and you will take it with you, not only if you stay in politics, but also in a work atmosphere. You really gain skills that you can use. The same with speaking English. It's really, I usually joke about that we all speak broken English, because we do, except for the British, but no one understands them anyway, because they speak so fancy. But that's also like a concrete skill that you learn to sit down, and you go in the speaker's chair, and maybe there's a word you don't remember, and then it's chilled, and you know, say it out loud, and there will be someone in the crowd that speaks a language similar to yours that will help you. So you really develop a lot of skills. And also, as Vedran also said in the video, you get a huge network for the rest of your life, whether it's on a personal level. I can speak for myself. I met I'm getting married in August. I met my husband-to-be at an ALDE conference, but also professionally, whether you go into have a business career and you need to know something about somewhere in Europe, you will always have someone with hands-on experience, or whether it's politically, whether you want to know how do you deal with immigration or integration in Belgium, you know who to call.
¿Verdad? You're getting married?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, just so you don't think that I'm just sitting and making this up, then I brought a couple of examples of people who's been in LYMEC and used it as a stepping stone to something bigger. Here we have Annie Lööf. She was active in LYMEC in the mid-2000s, and today she is the leader of the Swedish Centre Party, and I think the next Prime Minister. Now she is in opposition, but before she was Minister of Enterprises. So just 10-15 years ago, she was in LYMEC. The same with Ellen Trane Nørby. She was president in 2002 to 2004. Soon after, she joined the Danish Parliament, and today she's Minister of Health. And she's Danish, so I talk with her a lot. And she really said, well, the skills I learned in LYMEC are the ones that I use when I sit in the parliament and I have difficult negotiations. There's no difference than the skills I learned when we were discussing a resolution, when I was, streaking a compromise with someone. So it is really useful. And last, but certainly not least, I mean, Xavier Bettel, the favorite Prime Minister of Europe, was also active in LYMEC. So we really, I don't think we can take all the honor, but at least we did create some talent that pushed further on. So yeah, finally, my time is soon up. If you want to know more, get involved, please follow us on social media. We're everywhere as LYMEC. We have a newsletter. And of course, I'm going to be here the whole weekend. So don't hesitate to pull me aside and ask questions or, tell me what you're worried about the European Union. And thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hans. Do we have the continuation of the PowerPoint somewhere? I also prepared a presentation. Oh, there it is. I'd like to start my part with a quote that's nearly 200 years old, but that's also become my personal motto, which reads, "The most dangerous worldview is the worldview of those who haven't viewed the world." I say 200 years old, but today it's more true than ever, I would say. Many countries and regions, and even in Europe, there's politicians in power who talk about international politics and who think they know the world, but truly they don't. And that results in populism, that results in nativism, that results in protectionism, and in the worst cases, that also results in racism. But there is a solution, and the solution is us. We, as young people, we are different. I think we are growing up, we grew up, and we are growing up with the internet, with social media. We do know the world. It's far easier to travel. All of us, or at least those not too old, have been born in the Schengen area. At least Spain as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to make sure I don't make mistakes. For us, it's far easier to get to know the world. And I think that it's up to us to change this paradigm. It is up to us to be that change. And I was asked by Adrian to provide you with a more personal perspective on how that works. So I'm briefly going to explain my history in politics. I'm going to try not to bore you. Basically, for me, it started in high school when I was 16. I'm now 26, so that's 10 years ago. When my history teacher came into our classroom and said, "Hey guys, there's this interesting project. It's called the European Youth Parliament. Are you interested in joining?" So basically what happened is 8 nerdy guys, including myself, joined a presentation on the European Youth Parliament, and we thought, yeah, why not? Let's go to a conference. First conference was in Brussels. And there we got to debate the current European topics. Back in 2008, that was the elections, because 2009 were the European elections. We had some constitutional affairs, and we had the fact that nobody was actually interested in Europe, and nobody talked about Europe, how things changed. And we got really into that. We also got selected because it was a selection conference, and we got to go to the international part of the European Youth Parliament, and we did more conferences and more conferences. And at these international conferences, we met people from all over Europe. The European Youth Parliament is active in 42 countries, so we got to know people whom I would never have talked to otherwise. And that basically got me going politically. And I really got very convinced about the European ideal, about the fact that collaborating and cooperating within a European atmosphere is so incredibly valuable. So I kept on doing that. I think I did 50 conferences in total for the European Youth Parliament, stretching 8 years. I was in all sorts of boards there. And then I also started studying at the university. I studied history, and at the same time I was active in every thinkable student council you have at universities. Universities in Belgium, and possibly in Spain as well, are incredibly hierarchical, bureaucratic institutions. So there's councils everywhere, and I was basically in all of them, trying to further the cause of the young people, of the students active there. I also joined the European Students Association in Antwerp, where I studied and live, also to further that European cause and to try to get other people convinced about the European Union. Which resulted afterwards in me studying European studies, because I really wanted to know everything there is to know about the European Union. Turned out to be that's completely impossible, because the European Union is a very complex vehicle that is unknowable, but at least I tried, I gave it a go. There I was also active in the Model European Union and the Model United Nations, to continue these simulations, to keep my skills up, to debate politics really on an international level. And that's when it dawned on me that I could only continue doing that so long as I was a student, so that I needed something else, and that's when I went to do politics. And in Belgium, if you are very pro-European and you look at the political landscape, there is only one party that suits you, which is the Liberals. We are with Guy Verhofstadt's party, and Guy Verhofstadt, what he says on Europe is our party policy. There's nobody else saying anything. So obviously we're a very pro-European party in Belgium. So I joined that, and that's how I became a liberal as well. I started thinking for myself. I started thinking about problems in Belgium, in Flanders, in Europe, and how to solve them efficiently and quickly. And I became convinced that the liberal way is the best way, if not the only way, to solve the problems correctly. Open VLD, which is the Flemish Liberal Party, and the Young VLD, which I'm now the international secretary of, also got me involved in LYMEC. LYMEC, which is basically, for me, was a continuation of this European Youth Parliament thing where you meet people from all over Europe and discuss current political topics. And that's really, LYMEC, guys, LYMEC is great. Next time, or at least Ciudadanos will be joining soon. You should fight to be there. I mean, don't kill each other, but do your utmost best to at least experience this thing once. And once you experience it, you'll want more. And Sissel said, keep involved, remain involved. Well, once you do that, you're sold. You don't want anything else any longer. And so eventually what I'm doing now is I work in the Belgian Parliament for an MP. And my entire political commitments before resulted in my current job, and I'm really thankful for that. So what I want to advise you there is what I did was to create opportunities. There are so many things to do out there, so try to at least do as many as you can. Don't just focus on your studies. Obviously you don't, because you're here. You already have something next to your university studies or to your job. But it's really important to broaden your focus, to broaden your horizon, and to see as many opportunities as you can and to take them, and to contribute. You need to show people what you're capable of if you want to advance in society, especially in politics. Albert was talking about this an hour ago. He says Ciudadanos is a door to talent, and I think that's absolutely amazing. If only all political parties across Europe, especially mine, would have the same mentality. My party is ruled by dinosaurs, who really try to keep themselves in power as long as they can, which is not easy as for young people well, it's not an easy environment to work in. But you're not going to get a chance if you don't show what you're capable of. So you need to contribute, you need to show the people who can give you this opportunity that you're talented, that you're willing and committed to further the political cause. Oh, I forgot my slides. Well, there you go. This was a picture taken at a European Youth Parliament event. So why cooperate internationally? What do you learn from that? Well, there's really a lot of things. First thing is knowledge. Yesterday I had dinner with amazing Spanish gentlemen, but also two guys from Venezuela. And what's the best way to learn about Venezuela? Is it about reading about it in newspapers or magazines? No, it's talking with people from there. And really, yesterday I learned a lot. I knew some things about Venezuela, but yesterday I had a personal perspective from people who are from the country. And that's really the most amazing thing. And the same happens all over Europe. When you come to Spain, when I come to Spain, I learn about the Spanish political situation, the topics that are currently hot. Albert explained what you're trying to achieve as a party and as the youth. And that helps me as well, because I can take your ideas and your perspectives back home and implement them at home. And that's how I try to broaden my horizon. What else? Well, if you on a skills level, if you start being active on an international level, well, also on a national level, but internationally it's even better, you'll get good at debating. Because you'll meet many people with different perspectives, with different opinions. And you'll have to defend your own opinion, but also be able to listen to the opinions of others and value their opinion. And that's a really important debating skill. What you'll also learn is negotiate and compromise. Yesterday I was told that Spanish people are not very good at negotiating and compromising. Well, Belgians are. So if you want to learn on that, please come talk to me. What you'll also learn is critical thinking. Obviously, you'll see very different things, and you'll learn how to digest all the opinions and all the information that's there. You'll learn to digest it for yourself and create your own opinion. Obviously, also language is a very important thing. When I started out in the European Youth Parliament at the age of 16, my English was, well, it was very mediocre. Such as my French right now. My French is very mediocre at the moment. I improved my English skills by doing. I didn't learn it in school. I never studied abroad, which was the biggest mistake of my life. Please do so if you have the opportunity. But your language skills will improve dramatically if you just go abroad, talk to people who are not from Spain, ideally, and who don't speak your language. And you'll see yourself, you just have the courage to just go out of your comfort zone and try. And last, what you get from your international commitment is a network and our friends. I'm dead serious when I say that. Some of my best friends live abroad, and I hardly see them, at least, like, I don't even see them once a year. But still, we're so close, we talk frequently over social media, because obviously in our communication society, things get very easy. And your network, you get to know people from all over Europe who can, once you, like, say you have a problem that needs a European perspective, or you want a European job opportunity or some advice, then there's so many people with so many different perspectives who can help you out. And that's incredibly valuable and something that every single individual in this room should try to nurture. So, concluding, what I'm trying to say is that we, all of us, the young people, are the hope of our generation. You already have made your political commitment. You chose to be politically engaged. Keep on doing that, and try and convince your friends and people you know, try to convince them to do the same. Not necessarily within Ciudadanos or the Ciudadanos youth. Some might have different opinions, but then again, still convince them to join a different political party. Because it's valuable, because people what Albert said, again, people are disconnecting from politics all over Europe. And I think that we as young people can show that it's still worth giving a damn. And obviously we need to do that ourselves. And for that we need to overcome our physical and mental barriers by talking to people and going abroad through international cooperation. And obviously international cooperation is easier than ever, very easy to reach everybody. Even my phone number, as Sissel said, I leave tomorrow morning, but throughout the day, or if we don't have the opportunity to talk today, contact me or contact us as Flemish liberals, and let's try and set things up together. A very good example of that is the Flemish liberals are currently working together, well, the Flemish young liberals are currently working together with the Dutch young liberals on certain policy issues, such as the financing of medicine. The Dutch system is different from the Belgian one, but still all young people came together and thought about general approaches to the way medicines can be financed on a more fair and an equal level. And there's many, many more examples to give. LYMEC is like the things we discuss in LYMEC are also very valuable to our work at home. So, concluding, do give it a try.
Antes de continuar, ¿tenemos los micros de traducción para Hans y Sissel? So you understand the questions. Which I use it. I hope you don't mind. Vamos a pasar ahora al turno de preguntas. Tenemos casi 20 minutos. Gracias. Podéis preguntar en inglés o en castellano. Las respuestas las van a dar en inglés y yo intentaré, si hace falta, hacer un poco una traducción simultánea como pueda. ¿Quién quiere preguntar? Ahí tenemos el primero. Vamos a empezar por la derecha. Por favor, ser solidarios con los compañeros. Seamos concretos, preguntas directas.
Thank you for coming here. I would just want to say, to have a better Europe and a stronger Europe as we liberals want, I think, from my point of view, that we have to feel European, to stop seeing each other as foreigners. And to do that, I think we have a major problem that is communication. Like, we don't speak the same language, but all the parties speaks in English, LYMEC speaks in English, all major European corporations speak in English. It's the global language of business. But in the European institutions, we have more than 20 official languages, 3 procedural languages for the European Commission and Parliament. And I think that's a problem. Like, we are far behind the business and how the world is working. And so don't you think that we liberals should force the European, push to make the European institutions to adopt English as the main and only official language? Thank you very much.
Who wants to take this one?
I am always happy to speak. Thank you so much. I think it's a good point that in general we need to strengthen the language skills. That was also a topic earlier today. But at the same time, there's also a balance, because we also have to deal with, all the generations who don't have English as their first language or even as their first foreign language. And we all know that there are people who are against the European Union, who are people who are very skeptical. And I think to not push people further away, we really have to walk very carefully that we at one hand, we encourage the use of English. In LYMEC, we used to have French and English, but we switched, so it's only English. So I see it as more like a gradual approach, that we make sure also that we invest in education, that these generations and the generations to come will have good English, but also to make sure that we're not pushing people even further away from the European Union, that if they feel more comfortable in speaking in their national language, then we give them the opportunity. So, I mean, on the long road, I'm totally agreeing with you, but for now, let's keep both opportunities.
Siguiente, Guillermo.
Thank you very much. I am really excited of having you here, because I have been an individual member of LYMEC since 2011, and now I am really, really happy that you finally come to Spain, with other liberals, and we may bring together our ideas, and that I'm a little bit nervous too. Now, I wanted to ask you if whether or not you are going to welcome us. You are going to welcome more Spanish liberals, more through this organization, this Jóvenes de Ciudadanos, and probably to hold a congress in Madrid or something like that. This would be for me amazing, simply amazing. Thank you very much.
I think that's for you, Sissel.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy that we in the past 2-3 years, how long is it by now?
3 years.
Have explored each other more and more. We have Adrian and Melissa visiting many LYMEC congresses. We had a guest from Ciudadanos at our summer academy, Anna. So I see that we are, for some organizations, it's a very rapid move to become members of LYMEC, and in other cases, it takes a little more time. I think it's important that if it takes longer time, we give the process time, but that does not mean that we cannot work together, that we cannot join forces on topics where it makes sense. And I'm sure that when you join LYMEC, it will be natural also to be in Madrid.
Por ahí, por el medio, por favor.
Hola, bueno, yo soy muy defensor de la Unión Europea, considero que tiene muchas más cosas positivas que negativas, pero a mí me inquieta mucho un problema de lo que parece ser una sobreregulación. Por ejemplo, creo que hay más de 100 regulaciones sobre almohadas ahora mismo europeas, o está regulado hasta el tono de azul del bolivic. Yo quería preguntarte a ti, que lo ves más de cerca, ¿qué opinas al respecto de esta faceta de las instituciones?
Estoy totalmente de acuerdo. Sin embargo, donde ha habido la sobreregulación ha sido en las dos comisiones Barroso, que fueron la de 2004 a 2009 y la de 2009 a 2014. Según entró la nueva comisión Juncker, lo primero que dijo el vicepresidente Timmermans en la presentación del libro blanco fue básicamente que se acabó la sobreregulación. Yo en esta legislatura, yo no estaba en la anterior, pero por lo que comparto con compañeros del Parlamento Europeo, todos me dicen que el trabajo legislativo se ha reducido una barbaridad. De sesiones habituales de tener 1.500 votos todos los días de Estrasburgo, hemos pasado a tener un tercio de eso. Entonces yo creo que aprendieron la lección y ahora sí que existe una aceptación de que hay que hacer menos regulación. Mejor, pero menos. Y no hacer como hacían la Comisión Barroso, que te regulaban desde las almohadas hasta el tamaño de las jaulas de los pollos. O sea que yo creo que va mejor, vamos. Otra pregunta, Ana.
Okay, first of all, thank you for coming. It's a big pleasure to have you and to see you again, Sissel, and to meet you, Hans. And at the Summer Academy, we have the opportunity to have the debate on which was going to be the future for the European Union. And I would like you to talk about that, your impressions, see your perspective of young liberals, how is going to be the future for the European Union, which you think is the future for the European Union from your perspective. Thank you.
Hans, would you like to reply to this one, and then Sissel?
Sure. Obviously, I wasn't at the Summer Academy, but we've been discussing this as well on LYMEC congresses and obviously internally as the Belgian Young Liberals. I think that it's our task as Young Liberals to keep the belief in the European Union high and to keep fighting for that. We shouldn't not be critical. Certainly, the European Union is full of things that can be improved, and according to the Belgian perspective, it also over-regulates things. So in some areas, there needs to be a bit less regulation so that the free market can do its job more ideally. But the institutions, and that's the core, the institutions need to be strengthened. There needs to be more democracy within these institutions. And also there needs to be, in some areas, say defense, say digitalization, energy, we need to cooperate better and a lot more across the European Union. That would be my perspective, and that from the Young Liberals.
Do you want to reply?
Yeah. I think generally I'm quite optimistic. I think in the aftermath of the Brexit, and we all know how horrible it is, but it provides an opportunity, and it forced European leaders to actually think second about what did they want with the European Union, because for many years, especially in Scandinavia, there was this tendency that, you would be pro-European, but towards your electorate, you would be bashing the EU. It's like, yeah, the EU, it's too costly, they make stupid rules, all of these kind of things, but actually in the light of the Brexit, and also I think later with the election of Donald Trump, we actually see that no, we need the European Union, and the European Union has now the opportunity to really be a global force and step it up. So I'm an optimist.
¿Alguna otra pregunta? Allí al fondo.
I'm quite afraid about the European Union future. I think we haven't learned anything from Brexit. We had a country, we say, okay, you don't want the euro, keep away. Don't get angry, smile, keep with us, and he leaves. It leaves. So, aren't we too soft about the European Union? I prefer 10 countries and keep away. Keep all together, do something. We can't let every country do or not to do what they want about the European Union. For example, refugees. There are many countries who say, we don't want even one. we have a sign here in the document, and we say we are going to take so many, but I only want the money that the European Union gets on my country. I don't know if I'm explaining it quite good. European Union should be something strong. We can't be always what you have said about let's not get angry the political parties who don't really like the European Union. English can get them angry. I don't really know if it's the way. Smile and say, okay, everything you want to keep here. We have Get Up, we have an important country out, the UK, and we haven't learned anything about it.
Let me get this one. Responderé en castellano. Tienes toda la razón. Tienes toda la razón. Luego esta tarde, cuando hagamos las mesas de trabajo, pondremos, por ejemplo, una mesa de Europa que la van a coordinar Hans y Sissel de 10 personas para hacer una resolución. De 10 porque pensábamos, como sean más, en 2 horas no van a llegar a un acuerdo. Pues ahora imagínate ese complejo sistema de llegar a acuerdos entre 10, lo pones entre 28 primeros ministros, que tienen su presión social, su presión de medios, su propia hoja de ruta y que van cada 2 meses a Bruselas a intentar ponerse de acuerdo con otros 27. Y aún así, hace 70 años las fronteras de la Unión Europea eran de cable de espino. No podíamos cruzar fronteras, no podíamos hacer Erasmus. Cada vez que volábamos de una capital a otra, solo podíamos pagar una barbaridad de dinero porque solo había compañías aéreas nacionales, no había compañías aéreas liberalizadas. O sea, lo que intento decir con esto es que todos los procesos en la Unión Europea son lentos porque tienen que ponerse de acuerdo mucha gente. Lo que has dicho es, no puedo estar más de acuerdo, lo que está pasando en Polonia, lo que está pasando en Hungría, lo que ha pasado con los refugiados. Ahora es el primer momento que, tras toda esta tormenta política que hemos vivido durante la crisis, estamos viendo como los líderes, como muy bien ha dicho Sissel, empiezan a pensar, ostras, o empezamos a dar soluciones de verdad a esto, o esto se cae, esto se rompe. Y ayer mismo, la Comisión Europea ya puso sobre la mesa, como ha dicho antes Albert, el artículo 7 del Tratado de la Unión Europea, que dice que si un miembro no acepta ni respeta los valores de la Unión Europea, se le va a quitar el derecho a voto en el Consejo Europeo. También se está hablando de que a los países, los gobiernos que se niegan a recibir su cuota de refugiados, que es algo patético, es algo lamentable, se les va a quitar sus fondos de cohesión. Les va a dejar de llegar dinero a la Unión Europea. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Que para ese proceso llegue, va a pasar un tiempo, pero, por lo que estamos viendo en los medios, se empieza a hablar, se ha puesto sobre la mesa, se está discutiendo. Tardará, pero yo estoy convencido que llegará. Y como bien dice, si la Unión Europea, ahora después del Brexit, que yo lo veo como una excelente oportunidad para hacerla mejor y más fuerte, decide que tiene que haber una Unión Europea a 2 o 3 velocidades y que los que queramos seguir integrándonos, los que queramos seguir trabajando juntos, aunque seamos menos, nos quedemos más juntos como una piña y seguimos en el camino del proyecto, y otros que se queden un poco en la periferia, pues tendrá que ser así. Pero hay que ser paciente, porque son procesos de negociación y una mecánica realmente, realmente compleja. Would you like to add up something more, Hans, Sissel?
I agree.
¿Alguna otra pregunta? Tenemos
Easy as that.
Tenemos 2 más. Una ahí y la última, allí ha levantado antes la mano, perdona. Las 2 últimas preguntas.
Yeah, this is a question for Hans. And which is the attitude of the Flemish Liberal Party towards Flemish separatism?
Pregunta fácil, gracias.
Not in favor. Absolutely not. No, as I said, we look towards, we look at our country in the perspective of the most efficient cooperation. I'm not going to explain the entire political system of Belgium because it's incredibly complicated. I think it's more complicated than the Spanish system.
Ooh.
Let's do a contest on that. But we believe, as liberals, that the most efficient cooperation for the state is on a country basis, whereas the biggest party in Belgium right now is the Flemish Nationalist Party. They believe that Flanders should do everything themselves, but that's going to create that will have a huge economical and social cost, a cost that nobody wants to bear, and that would be incredibly sad for a country. It will put Belgium back for decades. So no.
Última pregunta, la teníamos por aquí al final.
Sí, yo quería preguntar, yo hace escasas 2 semanas estuve en un curso de verano de la Universidad de Málaga que se hizo en Marbella, que trataba sobre el reto de la Constitución, y ahí se mencionó...
¿El reto de la, perdona?
Sí, ahí se mencionó sobre... el reto de la Constitución, de reformarla, era sobre el independentismo y todo eso. Y ahí se mencionaba de que había algunas comunidades autónomas, en especial, por ejemplo, las que estaban gobernadas por partidos nacionalistas, que veían con especial recelo el que cada vez la Unión Europea tuviera, digamos, más competencias sobre temas que, por ejemplo, antes tenían las comunidades autónomas. Es decir, no veían bien de que hubiera competencias que tenían comunidades autónomas que luego pasaban al Estado y luego del Estado iban a la Unión Europea. Entonces, la pregunta sería... ¿cómo podría, digamos, tenerse, o desde Ciudadanos, cómo podría, tener una visión, digamos, conciliadora desde el punto de vista de que de que las comunidades autónomas y las competencias de la Unión Europea no se vean, digamos, solapadas unas con otras y de que no se generen tensiones territoriales?
La gente a veces, claro, es complicado, pero, por ejemplo, en España, de la legislación, directivas, reglamentos, de toda la legislación que se aplica en España, el 80% viene de Bruselas. En formato de directiva, de reglamento, viene de Bruselas el 80%. Y en otros países europeos es incluso más alta. El proyecto de la Unión Europea consiste en que los Estados miembros, desde los municipios, pasando por las comunidades autónomas, en el caso español, hasta los Estados, hasta los gobiernos, cedan soberanía. Cedan soberanía a Bruselas, a las instituciones europeas, al gobierno europeo. Es cierto que está lejos, es cierto que a veces eso se ve con miedo, porque no sabes muy bien lo que pasa en Bruselas, los medios comunican solo casi siempre la parte negativa, pero el objetivo que estamos haciendo es que todos, de la única manera en la que podemos trabajar juntos todos los Estados miembros y que todos los ciudadanos europeos nos veamos recompensados y beneficiados por políticas comunes, es cediendo poco a poco soberanía. Ceder soberanía no significa ceder competencias, únicamente. La Unión Europea, la mayoría de su cuerpo legislativo son directivas. Y una directiva significa, pues usted tiene que hacer esto en un sector particular, pero usted decide cómo hacerlo. No le voy a entrar a decir, oye, ¿cómo tiene usted que regular esto? Tiene que marcar estas pautas, cumplir esos objetivos y hacerlo como usted decida en su país miembro, o en su comunidad o en su municipio. Pero el propio objetivo de toda la idea europea es la cesión de soberanía, para que todos estemos con las mismas reglas de juego. O sea, ese tipo de peleas yo creo que son ideas antiguas. Es volver a lo más local, a lo más cerrado, a lo más proteccionista, a lo miedo que tenemos fuera, cuando lo que tenemos que hacer es justamente lo contrario, no tener miedo. Tal vez lo que se ha hecho en un municipio en España o lo que ha hecho una comunidad autónoma con un tema particular va a Europa y es lo que se planta como regla para toda Europa. Te voy a poner un ejemplo muy bueno, que además es del partido de Hans. El alcalde de Malinas es the fourth or fifth biggest city in Belgium. El alcalde de Malinas, que se llama Bart Somers, desarrolló un proyecto hace 15 años sobre prevención de radicalización islámica en la población local de su ciudad. Porque, como sabéis, Bélgica, para la población que tiene, es el país que más freedom fighters ha enviado a Siria. Tiene un grandísimo problema. De Malinas no ha salido ni uno. ¿Por qué? Porque este señor desarrolló hace 10 años este proyecto para prevenir la radicalización a nivel local. Ese mismo concepto pasó al Comité de las Regiones y ahora ha pasado a la Unión Europea y están trabajando en una legislación o en un proyecto legislativo en el que todas las ciudades de Europa puedan beber de ese conocimiento, de esa experiencia y aplicarlo. O sea, el circuito o el camino tiene que ir de lo local a lo europeo. Primero, y luego de lo europeo a todos los demás, segundo. Es el propio concepto del proyecto, la cesión de soberanía. No sé si te ha quedado claro. Pues yo creo que con esta última respuesta, unless you want to add something else, we are going to finish with the European panel. Luego por la tarde nosotros tres estaremos con las mesas de Europa, así que estamos encantados de responder cualquier pregunta.
Un aplauso, ¿no? Thanks so much for coming. Bueno, chicos, en lo que ellos van bajando al escenario, o se quedan aquí conmigo, decirles que tienen ahora tiempo para comer, que sean puntuales, por favor, para que las mesas empiecen en orden para que ustedes puedan sacarle el máximo provecho que tengan esas mesas. Créanme que esta ponencia ha tenido mucho de fondo y espero que la hayan podido aprovechar. Sean, por favor, puntuales. Vale, disfruten de la comida. Bueno.